Hey folks, this is Slappy Kincaid. The reason why I'm making this video today, it's actually a video response to, I don't even recall what the video title is. Oh, here it was. Exposing Metal Bands, Satanic Illuminati was the title of the video. It was done by the AprilandWayne show. AprilandWayne, I've listened to a lot of the response videos. Most of them so far seem to be done by atheists and Wiccans and things like that, which is all well and good. I myself am actually a Christian. Been one pretty much my whole life. Both my parents are Christian. My dad was a Baptist minister. I actually have 3 different churches that I attend on Sunday. One at 11 a.m., one at 3 p.m., and one at 6 p.m. Granted, they're all different. They're all Christian churches, but they're all different formats. Like one is actually just a gathering of a bunch of guys over at a local music venue, actually. Just a bunch of people in the music community who hold their own church service. That's the 3 o'clock one. That one actually is a full bar, oddly enough. The one at 6 p.m. is a 4-square church, and the one that I attend at 11 a.m. is a Baptist church. Anyway, I digress. So I'm a lifelong Christian. I was raised by a Baptist minister, so I know the Bible inside and out. And I'm very familiar with what it says and what it doesn't say. The reason why I'm pointing that out is because I, like the other individuals who have replied to your video, disagree with your very uneducated and very narrow-minded view of metal. First of all, the fact that you make a blanket statement saying all metal is satanic, period. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. If it's metal music, it's satanic. Whenever you make a sweeping, broad generalization like that, you're almost guaranteeing yourself that you're not going to have any credibility, because I really can't think of any examples where just a broad generalization like that has proven to be anything but over-exaggerated and flat-out false. But I'm not even going to split hairs on things like that. Let's take a look at some of the examples in which you're wrong. Let's take Christian metal, for example. I can name dozens of bands. Living Sacrifice, The Chariot, Zao in their early years. Now granted, they're not a Christian band anymore, nor have they been for a long time, but in their very early years they were a very outspoken Christian band. Indwelling, Overcome, Focal Point, Focused, Born Blind, No Innocent Victim. The list goes on and on. Seventh Star, Beloved. There is literally Nodes of Ranvier. There are literally just whole record labels of nothing but Christian metal bands and Christian hardcore and Christian punk. Solid State Records, which is owned by Tooth and Nail Records, which has had literally some of the most famous and well-known Christian punk and contemporary bands of all time. I'm sure you've seen, or at least heard of, the OC Supertones, right? Very popular Christian band. They're on BEC Recordings, which is owned by Tooth and Nail Records, same company that owns Solid State Records, which houses many Christian metal bands. And you might be saying, well, what makes them Christian metal? The fact that their lyrics are all about Christian themes. They're all glorifying God or Jesus or things of that nature there. They're all, and as far as the people in those bands, typically they usually are very anti-drug, anti-alcohol, anti-premarital sex, things like that, and have very staunch Christian values. So by the logic that you put forth in your video, you're saying, even though these are very devoted, very devout Christian people who are writing music that is very Christian-centered, very Christian-centered lyrics, and have very Christian-centered values, all of that doesn't matter, and all of that is actually satanic based solely on the music format that they chose. Do you see the lack of logic and the lack of any reasonable thinking in that type of hypothesis? I would say the content of the music decides what its actual substance is more than the music format. Anybody who thinks otherwise is clearly an idiot. I mean, to say, yes, those Christian lyrics by those Christian guys about Christian values are actually not Christian and satanic because they're doing it in a style of music that I find unappealing. Not only is that false, but you do realize what you are actually doing is a form of blasphemy. You are literally misusing and warping, a biblical idea, not even a biblical idea, but a Christian church themed idea, and you are warping it to serve your own agenda. Now, granted, I'm sure that you guys probably weren't meaning for this to be taken seriously, and I'm pretty sure it was just meant to be a troll video, and you're just doing it for laughs. And if that is the case, then congratulations, you succeeded. If it isn't, though, then you really only succeeded in making yourselves look foolish and uneducated. Not only about metal music, but about Christianity as well. So, good job there. In fact, on a side note there, you said towards the end of your second video that you're damned to hell and you're inviting demons in your house if you listen to secular music, and if you don't want that, you must burn all your secular music and t-shirts and etc., and only listen to good, wholesome Christian music. Are you aware actually of how empty and lacking in substance Christian music these days are? I'll be honest, as a Christian, the only Christian musician that I can think of off the top of my head who had any real substance to his music that's coming to mind is Richard Mullins. Other than him, pretty much the rest of it is just performers. I'll tell you what I mean. I'll elaborate here. Most contemporary Christian music these days, in fact, a lot of it is usually also now used as praise and worship music at churches. They don't really sing the old hymnals anymore, especially the more evangelical or Pentecostal and Foursquare type churches. Well, the one I go to at 6 p.m. on Sundays is a Foursquare church. And they usually sing contemporary Christian music as their praise and worship music. And I really haven't been in the habit of singing, these songs for years. I used to actually do a lot of the music. I used to lead praise and worship for a Bible study group I attended years ago, but I haven't really even sang along with them in quite a while, just because I don't feel anything when they're playing those songs. And I've kind of realized why. Most Christian music these days is not only very self-serving, because they're saying, hey Jesus, I love you because of what you do for me, what you've done for me, how you've blessed me, and me, I. It's all self-centered and focusing on just the individual and how they feel blessed by Jesus and what have you, and how much they love Jesus. Which is all well and good, you should feel good about saying that you love Jesus if you're a Christian and everything, but on that same token, if that's all you're saying, you really don't have that much to say. And what's really kind of disturbing, I don't even remember very much in the way of lyrics, or the lyrics to the song, but there was this one song where they're talking about, praying to Jesus and talking to him, and then, something about waiting as God responds to us. And I'm like, waiting as God responds to us? that seems a little bit kind of screwed up. If God and Jesus are what they are, who are we to wait on them to respond to us? If I recall, isn't our position supposed to be waiting on God, you know? And the thing is, it's just that simple statement in that one song kind of creates a presumption that God is there for the purpose of serving us. And he's just kind of this big, omnipotent dispensary of comfort and everything for us, which is kind of the direction that most Christian music is taking these days. Meanwhile, after I got home from church, I had a couple of Flowbot songs that were stuck in my head. I know, kind of surprising, me listening to anything that's at all hip-hop like. Although I don't think really Flowbots counts because they're kind of their own thing. But, you know, I like some of their music, and there were a couple of their songs that stuck in my head. The ones specifically were Rise and Stand Up. Now, for those of you who've heard those songs, I'm sure you can see where I'm going with this. For those who haven't, you know, do yourself a favor. Pause this video, open up a new tab, and look them up on YouTube, listen to them, so you'll have a better idea of what I'm talking about. Anyways, those songs were stuck in my head, and when I got home, I decided to listen to them on YouTube. And as I'm listening to them, it kind of struck me odd that this band is, for all intents and purposes, a secular band, completely secular music, and what they're writing their lyrics about is bettering their community, you know, being good to people around them, tolerance, equality, things like that. You know, I mean, you know, they're tackling social issues like, you know, children who, you know, don't even have enough, aren't even able to get, you know, shoes for their feet. You know, families starving and things like that. Hurricane Katrina being mismanaged. All these themes are being discussed in these songs, and it's kind of funny. That is the type of thing that Jesus taught, you know. What did Jesus say the greatest command was? To love each other as he loved us. I'm seeing that put into place more in the lyrics and music of this secular band than I am in the Christian bands that made the music that we sing in church. You should find that disturbing, that Jesus is literally appearing more in secular music, and Jesus' teachings are being, you know, spread and encouraged more in secular music than they are in the music that's supposed to be centered around Christ. Do you not get that? You're seeing Christ more in non-Christian music than you are in Christian music here. That's a disturbing trend. So, AprilandWayne show, AprilandWayne, if that's your names, whoever you are, my recommendation would be is I would point more of a critical eye at the Christian music industry and the lack of substance that there is there before you really go off criticizing other genres of music that you really don't understand. Just a suggestion. Anyways, that's about it for me. Bye.